Hello everybody, how are you doing? Welcome back to Man City Unplugged, your very own Man City fan channel. Wow, what a performance it was. When I was watching the match, it was as if it was as if like a uh, river flowing on a quiet sunny afternoon, the kind of poetic noise it makes, the kind of poetic noise a brook makes when it flows over the rocks on a fine spring afternoon with the sunshine beating down onto the stream of river. That was the feeling which I was having. It was as if I was on one of life's greatest adventures. Everything was so poetic, everything was so fluid. For a while it seemed as if I was having one of life's most beautiful dreams. It was so passionate, so enthusiastic. Today's performance of City against Mönchengladbach was an expression of art. No artist in the world could have painted it much better. That's how City were today. Watching them on glide on the field with the ball. Watching the movements of players with tandem to each other. Watching the midfielders make runs, confusing the defenders. Watching us, defending from the front and attacking from the back. All of these things, it was the performance today was close to an experience of a lifetime. People say these all of these are the words associated with that great Barca team or the great Dutch team in 2000, in the 1970s, and under Cruyff, which played some great total football. City are almost in that ilk now. That Barca 2008 team and that Ajax team, along with Cruyff, play, I mean, total football, possession, domination, controlling the tempo of the game, everything. I mean, today's game was not about City making sure that we go to the next round. This is a round which we have faltered in the past, at least twice in the last three, four, in the last 4 seasons. But no, today, City went out onto the field, wanting to paint a canvas of themselves, wanting to paint a beautiful portrait of the kind of football they play, a beautiful portrait of how they work hard for each other. They just wanted to they just wanted to paint one of the greatest paintings that can ever be seen with the football they played. That was how mesmeric and tantalizing today's match was. When a team goes onto the field, not to just win a match, but to display the beauty, that art which is in them. When a team goes out to put out an account of who they are, when a team goes out to put out an expression of the passion, of the enthusiasm, of what playing for this club really means, of what playing football really means, what we are as people, how we play for each other, the companionship, the comradeship, the friendship. All of those things were seen today in City's game. It was never a match which City were playing to, okay, we'll go to the next round and all. Today City were playing, to get that sense of freedom in themselves. And when a team plays in this way, trophies and all are secondary. Are all secondary things for the team. A team plays to enjoy themselves. Team plays to make each other better. You know, when a team is in this mood, when a team wants to give their fans, give all of the people who have wished them well, give their coach some of the most beautiful gifts, give all the people who have been affected by this pandemic some of the most beautiful gifts by the way of playing the game. That is when this team is very hard to beat. This team can conquer it all. When you're in constant pursuit of a material thing like a trophy, for example, you can slip up and you go a goal down, for example, you feel that nerves. But when you are really playing playing to do give that beautiful experience to yourself and to all of the people who have supported you through the hard times, who supported you through the thin and thick times. That is when you become unbeatable, literally unbeatable. That is when you're full of confidence. And like I was telling 2 3 months ago as well, 2 months ago as well, that this is one of the best City teams I've seen, especially after that win against Aston Villa, the way we dug in and all. But today I'm telling, it's only City who can beat City. Yes, going further, we might, we might be undone by great shot from outside the box, or things like that. But the way we are playing, it's only us who can defeat ourselves. It's only things like complacency and all, which Guardiola should not allow to happen. Otherwise, when you're playing for the enjoyment of it, when you're playing for the beauty of it, when you're playing to when you're playing for the excitement, the enthusiasm, the passion of the game, no one can defeat you. Defeat and victory are all secondary things. What matters is your performance, and that is what Pep really wants to bring to this team from the last 4 years. The performance, you always tells, the performance is a consequence of the result. I'm sorry, I just did it the other way. That's why Pep always tells, the result is a consequence of the performance. You win, you lose, that can happen in football, but what is important is the performance. And today I finally say that City have arrived in the Champions League scene. We are ready to go into these in these knockout matches with great confidence, no slipping ups against Lyon and stuff. Even going into that Lyon game, yes, we were strong then, but there was that sense of insecurity. But in this mood, when we are playing for each other, when you're playing for that freedom, when a man is playing for the freedom, for his enthusiasm and all, it's very difficult to defeat him. And that is where City are at today. I mean, one wonderful performance again. I repeat, today's match, I can't stop but keep on repeating this. Today's game for me reminded me of it reminded me of a great painting. That was the beauty, that was the art with which we played the game. Not many teams in world football can do this. Not many teams. There's a reason why that Barcelona team, for example, was called one of the best. It's not just winning matches. Mourinho uh, did very well with the Chelsea team. But no, Mourinho did very well with the Inter team. But no, that Barca team of 2018 under Pep had a unique name, because it was just like uh, it was just like watching artists paint when you are watching Barcelona. And it's the same with the City team. That feelings of that feelings of that you're on life's greatest adventure, that all of the good feelings, you suddenly start to feel good. How many teams can you say that you suddenly start to feel good when you start watching them? I mean, wanted this game to go as slow as possible, enjoying each of City's touch and everything. It really, when City were playing for the 90 minutes, it really seemed everything froze in time. Everything stood still. The universe stood still, to just watch the 90 minutes. That's how fantastic the performance was. It was exciting, it was beautiful, it was passionate, it was enthusiasm. And more than anything else, we were playing for each other. We were playing for all of the people, all of the fans, everyone who supported us during the pandemic, during the thick and thin, when we were going through that bad phase in October, November, at the starting of the year, when we were not winning the matches. So that is what this performance is all about. Now let us discuss about the players ratings, and also the players performances. I mean, Edison, for me, it's a 7.5, as you can see on the screen. Edison for me made a couple of really important saves. If you see here, rescues 3. There were two fingertip saves. There were at least two fingertip saves. He commanded the box really well from Gladbach's corners, and you see in the heat map over there. This was one of my concerns with Edison against United match. He did not. playing the entire width of the box against United. But here you see he almost played in that entire width. He steps outside the box considerably well. He's just making those passes and everything. In a team which is Kevin De Bruyne, a team which is Bernardo Silva, Gundogan, Foden, Mahrez, these are some of the most exquisite and best passes of the ball in world football. And still, the pass of the match was from Ederson. He in the fourth or fifth minute of the game, he pings a 45-yard pass or something like that to and sets Kevin De Bruyne off. That was the pass of the match. Now, to say that having all of this, having Kevin De Bruyne, one of the greatest central attacking midfielder and the best in the world right now, and still saying that Ederson's pass was the best in the game, that says a lot about this guy. This guy can play multiple positions, but again, that's the hallmark of a great keeper. He despite having to do nothing for large chunks of the game, he's always an outlet to receive the ball under pressure. City's defenders don't go to Ederson unless they have to receive the ball under pressure. So for me, Ederson is 7.5. So I mean the way he concentrates and all, the way he receives the ball under pressure, everything is excellent for him. Joao Cancelo, if you look at Joao Cancelo's heat map, it is very exciting, I would say, because you see his heat maps. The deep red zone is in the midfield, is almost sitting beside Rodri. But then he has certain positions. There's another deep red zone there. Advanced on the left flank. It's still a mystery to many teams, to almost all the teams in the world, I would say. How does Joao Cancelo choose the moments to step into the midfield, and when does he play onto that left flank? If you know for a reason, if you know and you're sure that Joao Cancelo will only step inside into the midfield, then you can say your fullback to come inside and do something. But how do you know when does Cancelo go into the midfield? When does he go into that left back position? And all of these things, and it's this role is not easy. Why doesn't Pep play Benjamin Mendy, for example? He's an established left back. He has played in the Champions League, gone to semi-finals against Monaco. It's not about ability. Benjamin Mendy against Fulham, his crossing was good, his defensive duties were really good. He was very strong defensively. But then, the positional sense, why does Pep Guardiola prefer Zinchenko over a Benjamin Mendy, for example, or even Nathan Ake or Benjamin Mendy? You I think it's the positional sense. It's knowing when, it's reading of the game. It's the reading of the game. It's knowing when to step inside, when to go on the outside. When to intercept the balls, when to make those challenges, when to get back into your defensive shape, and get back for those things. I think Mendy still seems not to grasp. I think playing fullbacks is one of the most difficult things for Pep Guardiola team, because it's no more about your abilities. What abilities does Zinchenko have when compared to Benjamin Mendy? He's not strong, not the ideal height for a fullback, but the only ability he has is reading of the game. I'm pretty sure Phil Foden can play as a left back for City and do really all right. If Foden plays as a left back for City the next season, suddenly you'll be calling him, oh, look at it, Phil Foden. It's just the opposite of Gareth Bale, from a left winger to one of the best left backs in the world. Playing fullback in Pep Guardiola's system, yes, you need to be good on the ball, that is there, but you need to have that positional sense. You need to have that know-how, that tactical nose. That's why Eliquim Mangala, it is not for the want of talent. Pep Guardiola, why is he great? Why is he a great manager? He looks for things beyond talent. What talent does Zinchenko have to play on the left back position, for example? He looks for that little things. How do you read the game tactically? How well are you a reader of the game? How much are you enthusiastic to learn more things about the game, to pick up that little things from Pep Guardiola during training sessions? That is what Pep Guardiola looks at. That is why Benjamin Mendy is left so far down the pecking order, I would say. Cancelo, you just look at the heat map. He's almost everywhere on the pitch. What right does Cancelo have, receiving the ball from Ederson in the middle of the field, or what right does he have to, go on to this right hand side and all, picking those moments? Because if Cancelo doesn't choose the moments well, the entire team is just caught on the break. So for me, playing the fullback positions is one of the most difficult things in a Pep Guardiola system, and Cancelo is doing it excellently well. Fantastic. I mean, about the game, Cancelo was very good defensively. I mean, his reading of the game again, like everything I was discussing, he did everything, all of those things right. His reading of the game, the way he was making interceptions, the way he was crossing on his left foot, on his weaker foot. That was the most interesting thing for me. I think Cancelo is suddenly developing into an ambidextrous left back. He no longer has a weak foot. I think he's really good on that left foot. I mean, it's just outrageous. He could play as a winger and take Riyad Mahrez's position. That he's that good. You look at Kyle Walker again. This is in stark contrast to what this is entirely different to what Joe Cancelo was doing. Cancelo was coming into the midfield. You see, Cancelo's deep red zones were in the midfield almost. You see, Walker's deep red zones are in a defensive third. It's as if that Guardiola is holding Walker by a leash and is giving the leash to Ederson, who's always pulling him back. And yes, Walker has made runs forward, but whenever Walker makes a run forward, he makes sure either he whips the ball in, or he plays Mahrez in, or he gets a corner or something. And yes, Walker has the pace to recover, but in the earlier seasons, Walker would be so much reliant on his pace to make that recoveries defensively. But right now, he just uses his pace to go beyond Mahrez and go on the attack. But defensively, recovery, you very rarely see Walker using that pace. Unless it's just one or two times every 1 or 2 matches, Walker uses his pace to make defensive recoveries. That's because he's learned so much defensively, especially in a positional sense. Pep says my defenders don't make tackles and everything. People used to laugh, especially when in the 2016 season when he just came to England. People used to laugh when Pep says I don't teach my defenders to make tackles. He means that I teach my defenders the positional sense. I tell my defenders where to be at which moment, so they don't really need to make tackles. They just need to be at that position and intercept the ball and move on with the game. So that is what Pep means. That is why players want to play under Pep. You really start to discover a completely different dimension. You really start to think, can a person think this differently about the game? Can a person have so much vision about the game? How can a person be so much visionary? How can he see these things which I've never even thought of? Joao Cancelo just 2 years back would never have thought in his wildest dreams that he would start in a left back. I mean, he was starting in that right back position for Juventus as well, and he was doing considerably well. He was one of the best attacking fullbacks then. But Joao Cancelo would not have thought in his wildest dreams that I will be starting in a fullback position, and suddenly in between games I will be playing in a CDM position. I'll be cutting in, I'll be overlapping, I'll be going on to the other flank. Sometimes I'll be helping my keeper, bring the ball out from the back. I'll be helping out my defender and slotting in as a back three. I mean, Joe Cancelo might have been thinking. I'm just wondering what would Joe Cancelo be thinking when Pep really told him how to play this inverted fullback in training. When Pep told him all of his thoughts, he would just be thinking, "Wow, this is what I've uh, come here for." Now Joao Cancelo is a completely different player. Today Joao Cancelo can play in a CDM position, can play. People ask me why did Pep convert Philip Lam, Joshua Kimmich, David Alaba, 2-3 players into midfielders? How is it possible? I mean, it's not about not about talent. Pep is one individual. The reason for his success, I'm repeating this again, is because he sees things beyond talent, and to really go to that world class level, you really need to see things beyond talent. Talent can just bring you to one, can maybe open the first door for you, but apart from that, it's it's about that endeavor to learn more about the game. It's about that positional sense, the tactical thing, and also that is what Pep is all about. The way that he's enthusiastic even after winning 30 trophies, even after 12, 13 years in management, where he has managed the great Barcelona team and everything. He still has that hunger to correct Raheem Sterling's position. What is the need for Pep to even do all of that little bit things in the training field? He could have just told the club, buy Kylian Mbappe, buy Erling Haaland, buy this and that, and Ruddy. No, he makes world class players better. People say Pep had Messi. I say Messi had Pep. Messi. I mean, Pep made Messi better. Pep made Messi realize that this is false nine in the way, and you can even play in such a position. No, the reason for Messi's development is Pep put him in that position, false nine. Otherwise, Messi would have been on that left wing. Before Pep came, Messi was playing on that right wing, or he was playing as a striker and things like that. But when Pep came, false nine position, Messi was introduced that position. Same thing. Kevin De Bruyne become better under Pep. Raheem Sterling, completely different player. You don't recognize him from his Liverpool days. Kyle Walker, once a fullback who just used to think I have pace, I can do everything defensively. Pep has told him, this is how you think about game. This is how you conserve your pace. Difficult moments, Kyle Walker springs ahead and play and receives the ball from Mahrez and puts a cross in. He never springs back behind right now to to make a defensive challenge or to do some defensive work. That's how Pep Guardiola has really changed Walker's game, changed Cancelo's game. He's brought about a new kind of thinking. People say Pep has the money to 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 manage big teams, and he always has an open checkbook and all. I mean, do you expect to do all of these things from managing a Newcastle or things like that, managing a lower level team? I mean, how do you tell, for example, a fullback at Newcastle or a team there, or a fullback at Sheffield United to come into the midfield, play on the outside, choose your position and all? It's not possible. That's why Pep needs the players. That's what Pep always says. Without the players, I'm nothing. I mean, opposition teams say that. Opposition teams say that Pep always he only goes to the big clubs and he has to prove himself managing at the small clubs and things like that. But on the contrary, I would say that how do you expect Pep to implement his vision, implement his tactics, for the small clubs? That is not at all possible. I mean, the page is refreshed, but I'll try to put it up again. But looking at this, Rodri. Uh, yeah, yes, the page has come back again. I'll put on the heat map for you. You look at Rodri's position here again. I mean, I was so interested to talk about the heat maps of players, heat maps of each players in so much detail, because today we played a false nine and every player's heat map. you- it really told a story of what they have become, how far they have come in their careers, just learning under Pep. And each player's heat map, it really emphasized that. So looking at Rodri's heat map, see, he was everywhere on the pitch. It's not. I mean, he's a CDM. Yes, he has to go everywhere. But look at it. He's sometimes on the flanks also. Sometimes in the right back position. How do you say? How do you coach a CDM? Have you seen, for example, a United CDM playing at right back position and things like that? Sometimes he's at the central attacking midfielder position. How, I mean, this is all about enhancing the tactical positioning, the tactical sense of the player. That is what these players have learned under Pep. But one more thing about Rodri. Yes, Rodri was really good today. He was defensively very strong. He snuffed out attacks. I mean, his passing was excellent. He switched the ball really well. I mean, the most interesting, not interesting, I would say the most exciting thing about Rodri for me today was he was playing just forward passes. It was as if watching Sergio Busquets at his pomp, playing forward passes, playing forward passes. He was not worrying about anything earlier on in the season, especially even in the period January when City were winning. I was worried about Rodri. He was not switching the ball well. He was not playing forward passes. He was not playing those defensive passes. It was more risk averse. But now Rodri is looking as if a person who's liberated, a person who really wants to step on the gas, step on the front foot. The way he was playing the forward passes, it seemed as if he just had the freedom of the entire world. He had the freedom of Pep Guardiola. He had the freedom of the entire team behind him. It's suddenly as if Rodri realized that I have Ruben Diaz, I have John Stones, I have Walker sitting back. There's no need for me. Even if I play a miss pass, they will protect. I think this is the attitude which Rodri has to go with. But there's a slight problem for me with Rodri. Not in this game. He was really good in this game. You see 7.1. Pep subbed him off. I think he'll start definitely for that Everton game. But there's a considerable difference in play when Rodri plays with the false nine, and Rodri plays, having a striker. When, for example, a Gabriel Jesus or an Aguero plays, City don't have that extra person dropping into the midfield. And when Rodri comes up against midfielders who are much more mobile, like in that United game, Fred and McTominay, for example, I somehow feel that Rodri doesn't have the mobility in him. Rodri doesn't have the the pace in him to cover the ground like a Fernandinho does. Can Rodri play in a midfield, in a Liverpool midfield which is at its best with Wijnaldum, Henderson, Fabinho? I doubt it. Fernandinho can play. That is one concern for me about Rodri. But it doesn't mean that if you don't have mobility, you can't play CDM. You see Sergio Busquets, Xabi Alonso. Those are some of the prime examples. It's just that he needs to make his reading of the game much better. He needs to make his positioning much better. Other than that, Rodri was really good today. John Stones, for me, he made a couple of really good interceptions. I mean, he was really so much proactive on the ball. Before the striker was set to receive the ball, John Stones would really, literally jump in front of him. It was as if John Stones was two steps ahead. This is another player reading of the game. People say that to be a defender in Pep Guardiola's team, you need to be really good at one-on-ones. I think to be a defender in Pep Guardiola's team, you again like I was saying earlier on, you need, for Walker and Joe Cancelo, to be a defender in this Pep Guardiola team, you need to be two steps ahead in the game. It's like just playing a game of chess. You need to visualize. Okay, he passed to him and he'll pass to the striker, or he'll pass there. So I will be set and ready for anticipating that pass. So you need to be two passes early in your mind. Is it playing as a center back? I mean, playing as a defender in any position across the back four, but mostly playing as a center back is a game in the mind. Playing as a center back for Pep Guardiola, especially for Pep Guardiola, is like playing chess. You need to be two steps ahead of the opponent, otherwise you're gonna be caught. If Pep sees you being caught in one-on-one positions and how well you defend, he'll just throw you out of the team. That is because Pep wants his defenders, especially center backs, to be proactive, to understand, okay, the center back is starting the attack for their team. And in the next 2-3 passes, where will it end up? Will it end up with their CDM? If so, I will step up in front of their CDM. Will it end up with their winger? If so, I'll cover him. That's how proactive you need to be. That's where John Stones has improved. People are telling that John Stones is cut out his mistakes defensively and all. I mean, I don't quite agree with that. Yes, he has cut out his defensive mistakes. I agree till that part, but why has he cut out his defensive mistakes? People say he's concentrating much. No, I say that he has picked up the tactical thing which Pep is really telling him on the training ground. He's defending like he's playing a game of chess. He's two steps ahead. Every time you see John Stones, yes, he tackles once or twice in a match, but most of the times John Stones intercepts more than tackling. You see the interceptions of John Stones. You see John Stones coming in front of the attacker and nicking the ball away. Those are the things which John Stones has really got better at. That is preventing him from, putting himself in quicksand in one-on-one situations. John Stones doesn't have much pace. I mean, John Terry didn't have much pace, positional sense, tactical sense. Football, again, like I'm telling, yes, people say I say it's only 10% talent, 15% talent, but more than that, it's about your tactical understanding of the game. It's about, knowing which position you need to be. Football is about, putting out the fire rather than fighting with the fire. Teams who fight with the fire win a couple of matches. Teams who put out the fire, teams or players who understand situations, who show steel in situations, those are the teams that win championships. That is what John Stones has become right now, a player who really understands situations, a player who, again, another player who is really who is really understanding the tactical methods which Pep Guardiola is telling him. Playing center back, again, I'm telling you, is about playing a game of chess in a Pep Guardiola team. It's not in any other manager's team. In a Pep Guardiola team, Ruben Diaz. I mean, if you see the heat map of Ruben Diaz again, it's predominantly to the left. You see John Stones and Ruben Diaz, one covers the entire right and other covers to the entire left. You see Ruben Diaz, the way he's covering for Joao Cancelo there. I mean, again, you have to pick the moments. When does Ruben Diaz cover for Joao Cancelo? Because he goes onto that left flank, for example, or he steps into the midfield, he needs to be extremely sure. Otherwise, he'll have vacated big spaces at the back. Yes, I know players fill in, but having a Ruben Diaz defend a one-on-one against an attacker is different from having a Bernardo Silva or having Gabriel Jesus defend a one-on-one. We have seen what happened when Gabriel Jesus mix defense and makes a tackle against Anthony Martial against United. But again, this is again this is what I'm telling. Ruben Diaz will see his tackles and interceptions. See, for example, it's just one interception and two tackles. The reason duels one of five. I mean, out of five duels is one three. The reason is, see, just two tackles and one interception throughout the game. The reason for this is he's way ahead of the game. He's stepping in front of the attackers again. He's reading the game, just like I mentioned for John Stones. Two steps is reading. Where will he pass the ball to the attacker, and where should I be positionally? Is dominating the attacker. See, people say you have to be air. City needed a defender who's good aerially, who is an old school defender and all. Well, what I say is City needed a defender after Company left. City needed a defender who is tactically dominant, who is proactively dominant, who is 2-3 steps ahead of the attacker, and that is what we got in Ruben Diaz. People say, why is Laporte sitting on the bench and why is Ruben Diaz playing? You can tell the same thing. Why is Benjamin Mendy sometimes sitting on the bench when you play a Laporte at left back or even a Zinchenko at left back? Zinchenko has been doing really well at left back, by the way. No way. Benjamin Mendy, I still believe, like we've seen against Fulham, is a powerhouse. He literally puts his crosses in very well. He defends very well and all of those things. But the thing with but the thing with Benjamin Mendy is he's not tactically proactive. He's not tactically dominant. That's the word. You need to be tactically dominant to play in this Pep Guardiola team. Especially as a defender, you need to be tactically dominant. Otherwise, you'll just let in goals. I mean, Mendy doesn't understand the tactical part of the game as much. So that's why is not coming into this team. You see Gundogan. Just see his pitch map. I mean, just see his heat map. Gundogan was one of the players who made those runs into the box. He played as a false nine. There were 4 players who played as a false nine today: Gundogan, De Bruyne, Bernardo Silva, and Phil Foden. Yes, Mahrez was cutting in from the left, from the right, but he was not playing as a false nine predominantly. It was Foden, De Bruyne, Gundogan, and Bernardo Silva. But you see Gundogan's heat map, and you see him predominantly active on that left flank. The reason is when Foden's going into that central position, Gundogan is the one who's occupying the spaces left behind by Foden. And you look at uh, little spots in the heat map, him occupying that penalty box. All of this is the way he times his runs. Again, how do you know when to time the runs? How do you know who will take turn to run into that false nine position? You should not be predictable and things like that. All of this, I mean, Guardiola puts in so much thought, so much tactical thought into this false nine system. It's literally, I sometimes feel it's becomes very difficult for opposition managers to read this. Whom do you mark? Each one, there are 4 or 5 players who are exchanging turns and playing in that false nine. Gundogan again was silky on the ball, carried the ball through really well, was nicking the ball. Was Gundogan makes those runs not only in the box but also makes those runs backwards defensively, and he nicks the ball in important areas. I never doubt Gundogan making a challenge in the penalty box and nicking the ball. In our penalty box and nicking the ball, for example, he's so clean defensively. I mean, he played as a CDM at Dortmund, I know that, but he's so clean defensively. Attacking was the old Gundogan is back. I thought in the last 1 or 2 matches he looked a little bit flat, but the old Gundogan for me is back. Is back making runs, is back to his best, is running around the field, is making those defensive interceptions and everything. He's got his customary goal. What a season it's turning out for him. people say Bruno, but I think people say Bruno Fernandes is one of the best attacking midfielders right now in the world. But no, it's Aka Gundogan. I rate Gundogan higher than Bruno just because the way he works his backside off for the team. The way he see how much he almost covered this entire left flank. The way he makes those runs into the box is literally everywhere. Sometimes he's going into the center backs to collect the ball. He's everywhere. That's why it's just because of the work rate. I really rate Gundogan ahead of Bruno Fernandes at this point of time, and he's having the goals, assists, the work rate, everything. And Bruno is just 26 or 27, and Gundogan is 31, and still is making those runs and working his backside off. That is something which I really need to admire. And Kevin De Bruyne was the captain today, and he's my man of the match, by the way. And he's the one who was originally slotted in to be a false nine in the original graphic when the team lineups came out. But you see Kevin De Bruyne, unlike Gundogan is only on that left flank. But you see Kevin De Bruyne, he's on the right flank, he's on the left flank, he's coming back and is sitting back beside Rodri, and there are thick heat maps sitting beside Rodri. Sometimes you see on the left flank helping Cancelo out. He's sometimes covering for Mahrez when Mahrez runs in. He's covering for Phil Foden when Foden runs in. He's into the midfield. He's nicking the ball back, and the shot he on his left foot. It was just wonderful. Wow. De Bruyne is back scoring goals, I would say. Fantastic. He scored a couple of goals against Southampton, and now De Bruyne is just back in his goal scoring form, assist form after the injury. Again, like Gundogan, De Bruyne looked a bit flat, especially in that United match. De Bruyne was not at all good. He was probably one of the worst players on the pitch in that United match. But after that, that is what great players do. That is what one of the best, that is what world's best players do. You have a bad match, they don't let that affect you. They just see what I've done wrong and they just pick it up. Against Fulham, against Southampton, this three excellent man of the match performances, dictating the play from the midfield. He was pulling the strings. Kevin De Bruyne making defensive interceptions. Again, they compare Bruno Fernandes and Kevin De Bruyne. I will see Bruno Fernandes' heat map. He does not do this much work of the ball. United fans complain that he is not getting service, but you see De Bruyne, he can easily stay up. No, he goes and he receives the service. He goes in that central defensive midfield positions. He receives the ball from the center backs. He orchestrates the entire play. He doesn't sit back and cry. He doesn't sit forward and cry, I'm not getting the ball. He doesn't show frustrations. He tells, if I'm not getting the ball, I'm the emperor here. I'll go and take the ball. That is what great players are. And we have two midfielders in Gundogan and De Bruyne who work their backside off, work their socks off, take sometimes going back, and I mean most of the times going back and receiving the ball, then making those runs forward, timing those runs, orchestrating the press, suffocating the opponents, tactically understanding Pep Guardiola's instructions, covering up for the positions vacated by players like Cancelo, Walker, everyone. It's so fluidic, the team. When people say City's play is so fluidic, the reason for this is the tremendous work rate which Gundogan, which Kevin De Bruyne, which people like Cancelo, people like Rodri, everyone put in. Good. Kevin De Bruyne is back to his best, I would say, and this is really good for us. I really wish he starts the FA Cup game the next month, April. I think after the FA Cup game on the weekend, we have the international break, and then City have a Carabao Cup final. City have an FA Cup semi-final if we get through, and the quarter-final draw for Champions League will be made. So I'll be live on that as well. We can follow it here. Now let us look at Phil Foden. Phil Foden. Again, look at Phil Foden's heat map. He also played as a false nine, but again, look at him working hard. I mean, again on the left flank, but he's covering from Joao Cancelo. He's again coming near Rodri to receive the ball. He played a couple of 1-2s with Mahrez. That is from a corner. He did an excellent skill in the match. Again, you see he's making those false nine. He's making those runs into the false nine positions. He's running, he's working his socks off on this entire flank. Foden this game again, for me, his passing was excellent. That no look pass for the second goal to really get Gundogan through. Wow. Phil Foden for me is ready to play as a central attacking midfielder. He's ready for me to play alongside Kevin De Bruyne. But Pep has given quite an interesting role for Phil Foden. People say he's Stockport Iniesta, but I think Pep Guardiola looks at Phil Foden somewhat like hi- him being capable of playing a Lionel Messi role. When I say Lionel Messi role, I say in that, in between the spaces, in that false nine position, making those runs of the defenders, all of those things. That's why Pep is, starting Phil Foden on the left flank, because sometimes as a young player also, it can be a bit overwhelming. You can get crowded out inside the box. That's why Pep really wants Phil Foden to play on that flank, because he has space as well. He has space to adjust himself and do all of those things. And earlier on in his career, people were questioning Pep. I mean, earlier on in Phil Foden's career, people were questioning Pep that why are you playing Phil Foden as a left back? And now you're seeing why. In a Man City team, you really need to work your backside of a left winger, needs to run and cover for his full back, run into the midfield. He needs to understand positions. Pep, was not just picking players just based on talent. He's picking players based on how well they've evolved tactically. If you're good enough tactically, you will be in this first team. It doesn't matter you're 15 years or you're 25 or you're whatever the age you will, or you're 27 or 28. It doesn't matter. If your tactical understanding of the game, what is your tactical understanding of different positions? Now Phil Foden played in that left back role for a few matches, I think 3 years back, 4 years back, when he initially came into Pep's first team. Now Phil Foden knows the hard work which a fullback has to do. Joao Cancelo, I mean, not just hard work, he understands what is required in that left back position. So when Cancelo, goes into the flank, Phil Foden covers for Cancelo, and he knows, for example, Phil Foden is in a one-on-one situation. He knows how to play that position, and knowing how to play that position is very, very important. Again, say, people say, why has Pep left out Jadon Sancho and all? The player was not tactically ready. He's doing well at Dortmund. Yes, he's doing well at Dortmund, but does the player understand the different positions at City? City's style of play is so fluidic that for a player to play in the first team, he needs to be tactically aware of certain things, needs to be tactically aware of what to do when Cancelo steps into the midfield, and what to do when Cancelo overlaps. Where should your position be? When Gundogan comes into the left flank, where should your position be? When should you cover for Gundogan? When should you make that false nine run? When should you go back, drop back, and collect the ball from your fullbacks? All of these things are really essential. That is why Pep really didn't think Jadon Sancho was ready. But you know all the well, Sancho went and played at Dortmund, and everything's going well for him. But again, the tactical understanding of the game, I really think that if Sancho had stayed, got he would have got a bit of less game time, but he would have got a even more tactical understanding of the game. Because you can throw in a player like Sancho, for example, without tactical understanding of the game, it will disrupt the entire machine. It would disrupt the entire city's cog. One player makes a mistake in this fluidic system. For example, Gundogan goes to the left and Phil Foden doesn't cover for Gundogan. It is so much congested in that left flank, and suddenly you have a big gaping hole in the midfield. The opponent can just play through your press. So, I mean, when Gundogan goes to the left flank, Phil Foden has to cover up for him, or Cancelo has to come in field, and Phil Foden has to make that false nine run, or a Bernardo Silva has to drop back. All of this, the way it changes shape. That is the beauty of this team, and that is why to get in this team, it's not just talent. You need a tactical understanding of all the positions. You need to be tactically dominant. Let's look at Riyad Mahrez. Riyad Mahrez, for me, his game was good. There was no mistake. Again, Riyad Mahrez also worked his backside of that. That is just a constant of this of the City team. But he didn't have his shooting boots on today. There were two or three times when it just opened up for him onto the left flank, and the shots just went a little bit wide. I mean, I don't want to be too much critical of him, but In big knockout games, you just have to score them. Yes, they're difficult shots, but not for a winger of Mahrez's ability. Is one of the best right wingers in the world. He's one of the best right wingers in the world at this moment. There's no question about that. His left foot and the reason told him is the reason I'm telling that he's one of the best wingers in the world is that right now his decision making in the boxes is excellent. I mean, you don't want to become the best winger or a best player in the world just because he can just because you have a few skills or you can do some step overs and all of those things that anyone can do. You Ben Arfa, he had a lot more step overs than Arjen Robben ever had. What was Arjen Robben's one trick? He just cuts onto his left foot, always cuts onto his left foot. Arjen Robben almost didn't have a right foot, but Robben is one of the best. Is one of the best wingers the world football has ever seen. So, you know, to be a world class player, why are Ronaldo and Messi really good? The reason is the decision making. They know when to pass, they know when to go by themselves, they know when to shoot, they know when to play someone. And that is what I've been critical of Mahrez. Even in January, February, I really, if you see my previous videos, I really wanted Mahrez to be dropped from the team as well. He was disrupting City's play. I think it was in October or November after City lost to Spurs 2-0. There were rumors coming out, and it is also the truth, I think, that De Bruyne and Aguero were just having a bit of a fight with a dispute with Mahrez, that Mahrez is holding onto the ball too much, that is disrupting City's game. Mahrez at that point of time, even till January and February, he was just trying to do everything on his own. He got the ball and he was thinking that it is me who has to now go inside, cut inside on my left foot and do everything. He was not appreciating the fluidic movement of the team. He was not appreciating the work. Cancelo is doing the work. Bernardo Silva is doing the work. Rodri is doing the work. De Bruyne is doing the work. Sterling or Foden is doing on that wing, sprinting up and down. He was not appreciating it. The work everyone is putting on to lay that ball for Mahrez, the work everyone is putting on to isolate Mahrez one on one against the opposition fullback. So his decision making was always that he has to go on to his left foot and shoot. But right now, his decision making is so sharp. He exactly knows when to go on and shoot, when to pass the ball, and is passing the ball much often. Mahrez doesn't hold on to the ball right now. He gets the ball, he decides instantly. Will I go and shoot, or I just pass to Kevin De Bruyne and make a run, providing an option for him, or I just hold on to the ball and Kyle Walker overlaps and I make an option for him. So that is what Riyad Mahrez is thinking. His decision making skills, his tactical understanding of the game has improved in the last 2-3 months, and that is why I think Mahrez is in the last 1-2 months. That is why I think Mahrez is really at his best. Is really ready to go, I would say. This game, Mahrez, like I said, didn't have his shooting boots on, but again, he was really fluid. He's setting into this system, and he didn't affect the fluidic play at all. He's getting the ball and displaying one touch football right now. Riyad Mahrez is known for holding onto the ball too long, cutting inside and doing all of those things. Right now he's playing one touch football. Receive the ball, his body position is much better. This is how you make world class players even more better than they are. This is how Pep made Lionel Messi even better than what he was when Pep initially started coaching Barcelona. People say Pep had Messi. I say Messi had Pep. That is why Messi had really, improved so much tactically. So Riyad Mahrez for me is in an excellent pace. His understanding of the game, his defensive positions, he knows now is helping out Walker sprinting back much more often. He's sometimes slotting in beside Rodri as well, as you can see in this heat map. So he's doing both sides of the game really well, and Mahrez for me is suddenly a fixture in this team. He holds the width really well. There were times when he was coming onto the other side, he was playing more centrally and not holding the width. Right now, he holds the width. He knows the exact moments when he has to make a run inside. I mean, City's attacking players are in so much ominous form, I would say. Bernardo Silva again. He is one of the best false nines in the world. The way he can, play that false nine position. But The one thing about Bernardo Silva is his work rate is just an engine. He doesn't seem to get tired. He runs the most of all the players in the team. He runs the highest amount of kilometers. I mean, look at this Bernardo Silva duels 110. I mean, he has attempted 10 duels in 1-4. You know, a player who is slotted to play up front, how can he, cover the entire pitch? How can he, go into 10 duels? That says a lot about how hard Bernardo Silva is working. People do not notice Bernardo Silva right now because he is not having assists like a De Bruyne, or is not having goals like a Gundogan. But Bernardo Silva for me is the reason why Gundogan, Kevin De Bruyne, Phil Foden, everyone is Cancelo, Riyad Mahrez, Walker, everyone is able to get into those attacking positions. There are numerous times when Bernardo Silva in this match went back and got the ball from the centre backs. How many players you see playing as a false nine will go back and get the ball from the centre backs? He is slotted in alongside Rodri numerous times today, and shielded the back four. Bernardo Silva is really good defensively as well, and he does that because Pep gives him that job specifically of carrying the ball, linking our defense to the midfield to the attack. The reason is he's the best dribbler in the Premier League for me. The way he holds on to the ball, he doesn't give the ball away at all. His skill in holding on to the ball is as good as David Silva, as good as a Xavi, as good as a Iniesta. Bernardo Silva for me would surely get into that 2008-9 Barcelona team at this point of time. That is how much he's good on the ball. He's just like a David Silva with a little bit more, sense for the goal, with a little bit more, no, I mean, with much more work rate. That is what Bernardo Silva is. Look at him all over the pitch, all over the pitch. Here it shows 6.5 for Bernardo Silva, but for me, Bernardo Silva is an 8, I would say, just for the pure work rate he has given. Bernardo Silva for me never loses the ball. Bernardo Silva never loses the ball in dangerous situations. Bernardo Silva is always so comfortable on the ball. Bernardo Silva is so assured in position. De Bruyne loses the ball, Gundogan loses the ball, but never does Bernardo Silva lose the ball. If Pep has to play a Champions League match against a Bayern Munich or someone in the next round, I mean, if he has to play against Bayern Munich tomorrow, for example, this is the team I would pick. This is our best 11 right now. Play a false nine with Bernardo Silva, De Bruyne, Gundogan, Mahrez, Foden. This is our best 11. Maybe a Fernandinho for Rodri. Otherwise, this is our best 11 right now, which we need to play. And look at the players who are outside. Raheem Sterling. People ask me, should we keep Raheem Sterling in our best 11 or not? Raheem Sterling for me, you look at what Raheem Sterling had done. I mean, Kevin De Bruyne put Raheem Sterling through one-on-one, and he got his feet tangled. His body position was not right. Imagine that we are trailing Bayern Munich 1-0 in a Champions League final, and it's the last minute, and and Raheem Sterling is through one-on-one. He can't sort his feet out. That one moment can cost us the entire Champions League. This tournament is a tournament of moments. You can't be too ahead, you can't be too behind. You need to play each moment, you need to play each second. That could sound so much dramatic, but this is a tournament of margins. This is a tournament of seconds. This is a tournament of moments. It is those small moments, it is those millimeters. If Aguero was not offside by that millimeter against Spurs 2 years ago in 2019, we could have, who knows, we could have got Ajax in the next round like Spurs got, and we could have gone all the way to the final and won it maybe. So this is so, like I always say, I'll say it again. This Champions League for me is a tournament of small inches. This is a tournament of being ruthless. This is a tournament of being merciless. When your opponent is down, just crush him. Juventus have realized that against Porto. So people say that you need to be merciless to win the Champions League, and that is true because you have strikers like Lewandowski and all of those in your opponents, like Mbappe, Neymar, and Benzema. See how ruthless Benzema was today. Real Madrid won against Atlanta. So and that's absolutely true. And to be merciless, can we afford to have Raheem Sterling? You can't carry players in this tournament. We had seen against Leon, you can't carry Raheem Sterling. Can't carry a player. No, I mean, all of these past performances, past brilliance, having an attachment to a player, all of those things don't work. Especially in a tournament that is ruthless. You play a second wrong and you're out of this competition. Bayern Munich against Manchester United in the 90s, they've dominated an entire final. And what did United do? 2 minutes at the end, they scored two goals and they won the tournament. You have a team who has dominated 91 minutes, and you have a team who has dominated just 2 minutes in the same match and won the entire tournament. That is how ruthless, how merciless this tournament can be. So I would really start with Foden. If you see these players, Mahrez, Foden, De Bruyne, Gundogan, Bernardo Silva, Joao Cancelo. I mean, what is the similarity between all of these players? Ruthless finishers. Okay, Cancel is a defender, leave him out. Rather than that, all of these are ruthless finishers. If that Sterling chance fell to Foden, I'm sure it would be goal. Foden doesn't miss a one-on-one. Very rarely happens. De Bruyne in this shooting form, no. Yes, Mahrez didn't have his shooting boots today, but Mahrez doesn't miss a one-on-one often. Mahrez is the best one-on-one player in world football at this point of time. So you need to be ruthless, you need to be merciless, because this is a game of margins, this is a game of seconds, this is a game of moments. And the one who really plays all of these three things, margins, moments, seconds, very well, is the one who will lift the trophy. That is how much difficult the Champions League is. That is why Pep Guardiola is extremely focused this time. I can see it in his eye. He was you. How many times do you see Pep Guardiola having a smile on his face? Showing a thumbs up symbol um, to his players. That, I mean, how often do you see Pep Guardiola feeling really good about the team in his heart? So and sitting relaxed, smiling in that. In the dugout. So Pep senses. Pep has that sense that we need to be more ruthless in this competition. The real challenges are yet to come, but we are performing really well. That is what Pep is saying. If you're not ruthless, if you make mistakes in front of goal, you're out. You're out. He's being ruthless by removing Raheem Sterling out of the squad. His I mean, player names don't matter here. Your past laurels, past performances don't matter here. What matters here is how much are you contributing in a tactical point of view, how much are you contributing to the fluidity of the team, how much are you contributing to the character of the team, how much are you contributing to the team, being able to play with confidence on the front foot. How much are you allowing the team to be tactically dominant with your presence? If you're adding something to the team, then you're in the squad. Otherwise, you're out. It doesn't matter you've scored 30 goals in the season or you've scored zero. It doesn't matter. That is the attitude of Pep. Pep has realized he needs to be that merciless in order to win this trophy. Because like I again said, this is a game of very really small margins and small things. But again, just summing up about the game, today's game was like one of life's greatest adventures. Like Kev was telling, it, it it was an experience of a lifetime. Just go through it. I mean, you will not get much watching the highlights. Watch the replay of the match just to soak it in. It was that good. It was really good. It just makes you feel really good on the inside, and not many things in life make you feel that. This I mean, football, that's why we all love football, and football makes you feel that. In watching the City team play in this way, makes you feel like that even more. And how many things in this world really make you feel really good on the inside from your heart. you know very few things, very few things. And today the way City performed was one of that. It was an expression of art. It was some of the most beautiful painting that City have you know City have put forth with the way they played, that movements in tandem, that passing, that companionship, that comradeship, everything. Seeing City's performance today, it shows you how much when you play for each other, irrespective of your talent, of your stature in the team, and all of that. When you're there for each other, when you play for each other, how much it will really, how much it will really help you to create an astounding, a wonderful piece of art. That is what City showed to us today. Again, it was uh, one of life's greatest adventures. So I really hope that you have enjoyed the video. If you have enjoyed the video, please please click on the like button, and also do click on the subscribe button, and also the bell icon, so that you get notifications whenever I post a new video. And I'll again be coming in front of you tomorrow, so that and we'll discuss about fans reactions to this performance, what the fans really felt about it. That will be really interesting. Again, thank you so much, and enjoy the day. What a great day for City. More than the win, it was about the performance. It was so enthralling, so beautiful, so passionate. One of life's greatest adventures, again, greatest expressions of art. Thank you so much.